Welcome to Whisky.com, where fine spirits meet. My name is Lüning, Horst Lüning, and I'm the master taster of Whisky.com. Today I present the brand new bottle of Laphroaig Select, 40 years old, and Laphroaig is called the most richly flavored of all Scotch whiskies. It's peaty, it's smoky, but the taste is very smooth. I already tasted the 10-year-old. Here's the link to the video. And this Laphroaig Select is a bottle which should fill the gap between the extreme peat-loving, smoke-loving connoisseurs and the non-peat smoking, peat-loving connoisseurs. The typically wrong word, the unpeated whiskey connoisseurs. So I don't know if Laphroaig produces two kinds of barley, one extremely malted and one less malted. So I suggest that this one will be heavily peated also. But the key is in the maturation period, the oak cask used. Ian Hunter, the last member of the founder's family, visited Kentucky 70 years ago after the Second World War, and he wanted to learn how the Kentucky distillers mature their whiskey. And up to that time, the Scottish distillers matured their whiskey in European oak from the continent, and the Americans matured in American white oak, which matures much smoother, not that spicy. And the European wood was soaked with sherry, with port, with wine. So the resulting whiskey was a lot sweeter. If you use the cask more than once, then the sweetness is gone and you have this spicy European oak. That's a different tale. And Hunter imported casks from the US, and this was the beginning of the typical Laphroaig style. Very few of us, neither me nor you viewing this video, may have had access to one of those old European casks used for the maturation of Laphroaig. Probably Ian Henderson, the old distillery manager, the former distillery manager of Laphroaig, who traveled the seas and close to Australia, he, as a young seaman, had his first Laphroaig and fell in love with this whiskey. And tens of years, decades of years afterwards, he was distillery manager of Laphroaig. A wonderful career. Sorry. And he might had a Laphroaig of the old style than off the shore of Australia. But all we here, close to none of us, had the chance to taste one of these very, very old, or this former Laphroaigs. The Select contains whiskies which were matured like the quarter cask, the triple cask, the PX cask, and the typical 10-year-old. And what's written on this tube? Created from hand-selected oak casks. Well, even steering a forklift means by hand. For perfect balance and flavor. John Campbell, distillery manager. The most richly flavored of all Scotch whiskies. Distilled on the remote island of Islay off the west coast of Scotland. Here we have more. This special Laphroaig is created from carefully selected casks of each of our key styles, stretching back in time with one notable addition. The heart of the spirit is drawn from a final maturation in new American oak cask, rarely used for Scotch whisky maturation. That's not quite right, because most of the whiskies in Scotland are matured in American oak. No, this is new American oak, not ex-bourbon. It's new American oak. 6 months of this maturation takes place in the highest, warmest reaches of our warehouses during the Scottish summer. 6 months. On the very top positions in the warehouses, the heat stays and leads to a stronger evaporation of the alcohol from the casks. So there is more flavor and less alcohol. The relationship between flavors and alcohol is different. With spirits selected by our master distiller from Quarter Cask, our peat cask and triple wood European oak casks represents a subtle blending of peat, oak and sweetness. The sweetness is from the distillery character typically. Bottle at natural color. Laphroaig switches to natural color. Wonderful, I love it. The result is an exquisite Laphroaig with our trademark peat reek, matches by an additional layer of complexity and depth brought about by the fusion of the maturation styles and different oaks, which we hope will surprise and delight you. Yes, I hope so. So, uncolored. There's no age statement on the bottle, so everything's possible. From 3 years up to 10. If all casks were 10 years old, I suggest they would have written 10 years old on the bottle. Oh, strong peat smoke, very strong. And in the back there's sweet vanilla. These fresh American oak casks. The sweetness, perhaps a little honey, the smoke is very present. Those phenols and... it's like walking into the ambulance room of a hospital. But there's also some spiciness developing in the back from the wood. And it's quite complex for a no-age statement whiskey. Sweet, developing, light. 43% ABV would have been better than the 40. So it might have been a little bit more power, a little bit stronger. But the spiciness developing. There's no bitterness at all. It's American oak and probably not too long finished in those American oak casks or matured in those American oak casks. Sweetness, peatiness, smoke, phenols. Wonderful, complex. The taste as smooth as the 10-year-old is because of this well-shaped pot stills where the alcohols are distilled very clean. So these fusel oils and intense alcohols stay back in the pot ale. Vanilla, sweet, and spiciness. Wonderful. Very complex and balanced. I'm not sure if this whiskey is sold all around the world, so it might be difficult for you to get your hands on this bottle. But if you have the chance, buy it, it's worth it. But be careful, it's very smoky, very peaty, and phenolic. Yeah. Thank you for watching Whisky.com. Please stay tuned, there's more to come. Leave your comments below and give me your thumbs up and share this video with your friends.